All right, welcome back to Build Your Legacy Insurance Edition podcast.
Welcome
Travis.
back. Bill, how you doing, man?
Yeah, good. Nice. Weather's getting different. Weather is getting fallish.
Yeah, a few weeks late.
That's okay. It's we are starting to feel it because it has been hot.
It has been. It's been hot and dry.
So I guess that doesn't bode well for you in hunting and things of that nature. I know you probably like it a little bit misty, a little bit cold.
It has been a successful year so far. However, it seems like the good days are normally days when I'm working. And as you and I have talked about offline, you know, those cell phone, trail cameras really let you know what you're missing out on pretty regularly.
Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you instead of hunting and doing things. It's good to have you here, even if you do get some dings on the phone.
Yeah, it's a great incentive.
Deer out there. It's
a great incentive to get to work and get your job done, to create a little bit of free time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. There you go. We get what. I'm glad you came, because here's one thing. I've been getting a lot of emails lately. All the carriers right now are planning and talking about planning.
It's that time of year.
And I say that they probably started their internal planning September, October, and now we're getting into the fall and the winter months, and the carriers are coming to us as insurance agents and saying, let's plan for 2025.
It's the beauty of our industry, right? We're working hard to finish this year and get ready. We're going to celebrate it. We're going to go, hey, we did a good job. We hit our goals. And then 30 minutes later, it's like, okay, well, let's get on to next year. We got to go do it again now, right?
Yeah.
So this is that realization of what time of year it is.
They want to play with everybody.
Yes, they do.
And I do think it's something that we should talk about and kind of share our views, share maybe what we do or why we do what we do, or maybe just give people ideas, for them to plan with carriers.
Yeah, and I know I've got my feelings on it, and they're probably a little different than yours, in comparison's sake. So I would kind of put the question to you. It's that time of year. You really lead that piece of it for our organization. I mean, why do you see it as such a vital part of our relationships?
I think you hit the key word. So let me start by saying that. I think the planning with the carriers is vital to relationships.
Yes.
And so let's just take that for what it is and break that down. Does it help an insurance agency? I don't know. Debatable.
Right.
For the carrier, an agency, for the agency specifically, does it help with the agency-carrier relationship? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think those are things that need to be broken down, and that's where you should really dive into, in my opinion, what does the carrier want? What is their goals? What's their goal for me specifically? What's their goal for North Carolina? What's their corporate, overall goal?
Right.
What is the person that deals with me, the marketing rep, the territory manager, what are their goals?
Yeah.
Because if I need the relationship with that territory manager, I need to help him or her hit their goals.
Yeah.
And I want to be a big part of that if I can,
right.
if everything matches up. Because you do want to have that relationship where you do feel like you're giving them something in return as well. And by you writing business, you're helping your clients and all that stuff as well. But I think you hit on that with the question specifically. Is I think the biggest reason to do it is for the relationship.
Yeah. But then I'd say the other side of it is, being realistic in what we can expect from them as a partner in the coming year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, if we know they're going through massive changes, if they, let's just pick on the hospitality industry or the habitational industry or something that's very property driven right now, if we know they're coming off of everything or they're not writing anymore and your book had a lot of that in there, there's going to be some issues. Yeah. You're going to lose a lot of business because of their actions that they're taking. And so if you don't take that into account, you're not going to be on the same wavelength there.
Right. You're going to spend more time replacing than you are growing in that scenario.
Yeah. And in some cases, that's fine, right?
Right.
And some carriers may look at it and say, hey, our goal is to do this. And it's going to be, we want to come off $100,000 of your business or $10 million of your business. It depends on who you are and what size you are. But they may look at you and be like, but we're okay with that.
Right.
But we want to write $1 million. We want to write 100,000, whatever the number is there. They may be okay purging some of that, and you may be okay with it. You may not. And I think those are the relationship you have to get through those challenges.
Open communication, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's all good partnerships. There's good, clear, concise communication. And that really, this is that time of year. It gives us the chance to communicate on what to expect.
Yeah. But I agree with you. If they're taking action, to some level, it's going to create some kind of reaction by the agency.
Yes.
In most cases, not all cases, but I pick on, yeah, they may only want new, but the problem is as an agency, if I'm like, you're coming off of 100 accounts that equals X dollars, why should I want to write new with you? I've got to do all this work to go place it somewhere else, which again, may change that planning with that carrier. The good news is there's another carrier that's got 100 possible accounts that you're going to be having to move.
Right. I was going to say, I mean, it's not, we're kind of talking about this a little bit in a silo for one individual carrier, but it really kind of goes from A to B to C, right?
Absolutely.
You know, what A is sort of planning with then is going to affect what B is going to, and so on down the line.
So I will say because of that is extremely challenging.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you sit down and you get a spreadsheet with what every carrier wants to do for 2025 today.
Yeah.
And when you don't have that, you may meet with one, you may think everything's good, and then go meet with the other, and it changes things. So then you got to go back to meet with another one, so it does.
It's fluid.
It does cause some challenges though, because it's like, okay, it's never ending. To your point,
Right,
it's fluid. Right. And does it really help the agency? I go back going, it's debatable.
Yeah.
On if planning with the carrier does anything for planning for an agency.
And I think that's a fair statement. And some of that's just what we're focused on is different pieces, right? I mean, we're even just in our conversation right here, we're talking about coming off of accounts, premium, things of that nature. Whereas on an agency planning, we're planning in revenue dollars.
As I think larger agencies, and we may have talked about this in a podcast before, but larger agencies typically talk about commission, about revenue dollars. And let's set that aside because I do think we should talk about planning for an agency next podcast.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about carrier planning, we're talking exclusively about premium dollars. That's all carrier cares about is the premium dollars. That's fine. You do have to change your language and your mindset that you're dealing just with that.
Yeah.
One of the other items I would say with the planning with the carriers is tied to compensation as well. So I do think you need to figure out what it is that the carrier has to offer or is going to offer in 2025 to make sure you're hitting those objectives that they need so you can reap the benefits and the compensation factors. I'm going to circle back. I think the last thing that I would say goes back to our first comment on relationships is I don't believe you have to plan with all carriers.
Right.
I don't think it's something as an agency that you should feel a need that every single carrier you represent needs a plan for the next year. Because not everybody has that. They're not all partner carriers. They don't have that same relationship with you, nor you with them. They're still going to plan. They're going to plan for you, and you may just have to sign something or checkbox things. That's fine too.
Right.
But your true partners, they are people that you need to work with, starting with the plan, and then throughout the year. You're constantly working on it.
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges of all small business owners is accountability, right? I mean, and I think the plan, while we sit here and we say it's fluid and it's something that we kind of work through with our partners, it's a great accountability tool, both for yourself individually as an agency, but also for your partner as well to hold you accountable and for you to hold them accountable as well, right? I mean, I think it's a great benefit in that nature.
Yeah, I agree with you. I believe if you do say you're going to do something for a partner, if they say they're going to do something for you, there should be accountability back and forth. If they change drastically, which makes you change drastically, then y'all need to readdress everything.
Right.
And hopefully there's that fluidness where you can, and you should be able to. But if everything is there like we're talking about, and like they're talking about, yeah, you should hold yourself accountable, and they can hold you accountable, and you can hold them accountable.
I completely agree. And I mean, I think the biggest thing is just continuing to circle back. It's a relationship-driven business, and that's with not only our clients, but our partners too. And I mean, I think it's a great example of if you're not planning with them, you need to be, because it's an indictment on how invested you are in their partnership. And if they're not planning and not wanting to plan with you, it's an indictment of how they view you as well as an agent.
Yeah, probably so.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
And so, I mean, I that's at its core as a sales guy. That's what I look at is the relationship.
I agree. I think we've hit on that. And I mean, it's work with them for yourself, for your agency.
Yeah.
It is get to know what they need, what they're looking for the year, so you can be a part of it and you can be a bigger part of the relationship.
Exactly.
So, awesome. Well, look, I appreciate you coming today, Travis, and
thanks for having me,
sitting
as
in the
always.
deer stand.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's only a few more weeks left, if you know what I mean.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, buddy.
Thank
I'll see
you
you soon.
Thanks for tuning in. You can catch our Build Your Legacy Insurance Edition podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, or send us over a topic recommendation at podcast@siaofnc.com. If you're interested in learning more about what we do, visit us online at www.siaofnc.com. We hope you enjoyed our newest episode. See you next week.